On March 17th, masked ICE agents detained Dr. Badar Khan Suri outside of his home. In a matter of days, he was transported to several facilities all across the country. Now, a few months later, Dr. Badar Khan Suri joins us in an exclusive Zeteo interview where he tells us much more about his experience in detention and his reflections since then. Thank you, Dr. Suri, for joining us. We had spoken with your wife, Mafez, a month ago, and during our conversation, she had said that hopefully someday soon we'll be able to chat, and here we are. So thank you. We're really glad to be having this opportunity to chat with you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So perhaps could you take us first to that moment masked agents detained you outside of your home?
Yeah, that was March 17th, Monday. Monday used to be a perfect days for me because I used to teach. So I finished my class and like it was Ramadan also, I was fasting. Then next thing was I had to broke my fast with my community, and then was returning home. Nonchalant, like a normal day, a tired person returning back home, thinking about kids and wife. Then when I was about to reach my building, I saw a black unmarked car. They were driving like crazy. At a moment I stopped that this guy may hit me. This is not a good way of driving a car. Then I just start moving again, and within a few seconds maybe, as I was about to make a final turn to open the gate of my building, this car blocked my way. Someone opened the gate on me, and this driver jumped out and asked my name. Are you Badar? I said yes, but I thought, why would this person who was in this car, unmarked car, and he's masked also, why would he know my name? I was terrified by that moment. And then he said that you're under arrest. That was like further shock. Under arrest for what? I said, why? What? He said, we'll tell you later. And he just asked me to stand there.
When that happened, did they present any other information? Did they show a warrant? Did they give you any information to any of your questions?
No, everything was like very suspicious. This behavior was very shocking to me, that this unmarked car, masked agents, cruel apprehension. And when I was asking for why, they should have shown if they were arresting me, they should have shown me some arrest warrant or something. They showed nothing. I even didn't know if it is an arrest or if it is a kidnap. That time I was thinking it was a kidnap. The moment when he said you are under arrest, and I said, okay, something is a bit making sense. He's not just saying me come and sit in this car, because I was at that moment thinking that he will next say come and sit in this car, because he was masked. That was for the first time in my life I was experiencing this thing. And in the United States of America, I have always seen or read about these things happening in North Korea or Russia or some Middle East country or in Africa. But here it was happening to me in United States of America. So I was in shock, and I was like motionless, like petrified and terrified. I just asked why, and he said, we'll tell you later, stand there. So I was just standing there.
So after you were taken, you were, I believe, taken to 5 facilities in 3 states over the course of 4 days, a whirlwind of being taken left and right all over the place with little communication with your family or legal help. What was that initial experience like?
It was a horror. It was like experiencing the abyss, and you were not able to talk to your family. Days after days after, you don't know where you are going. They put you like animals. First time I was experiencing this, that they hand shackle me, ankle shackle me, put chains around my waist. I was like, what was this happening? Where am I? What have I done? What kind of horror or extreme nightmare or a dream is it? I was like I even didn't see my shadow in those days. When they put me in Louisiana for 3 days, it was like a closed kind of chamber where we had 40 cells, and we were always in those cells. And I was fasting. They would not even give me food until midnight sometime, and they would not bother to give me a pre-dawn meal. They will unlock our cells 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and the time of the meal was like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. So I have to fast hungry, and they won't care, they won't answer. Anything, any question you have, they would say, we don't know. We don't know. So it was extremely bad experience. I mean, it was like, as I said, a horror show. And you don't know where you are going. There are phones. You talk to your family, but you cannot talk to your family. Others were talking to the family. And then I asked, how can I do this? They say, we don't know. The phone demanded some pin. I didn't have it. I asked. They didn't give me that. I didn't talk to my counsel for some days. Then in Louisiana, one of my lawyer was able to contact me. And then ultimately I was able to talk to my family or my lawyers when I reached in Texas after six days.
Liking this video? Then don't just watch, hit like, share and subscribe. And tap the bell so you never miss a video or live show. But if you want early access to exclusive content, then you have to head to Zeteo.com and subscribe now. You'll be supporting fearless, independent journalism.
You talked a little bit about this, but I know that once you're able to have more regular contact with your legal team, we got to know much more intimate details about the kinds of conditions you and your detainees were experiencing in these ICE facilities. Could you tell us a bit more about what you all have to deal with?
So always see, even when I was in Louisiana, that facility, Alexandria staging facility, is for 400 people. But the flight which I came there with all the detainees who were all chained, we were 300 people in that flight. And when we entered that facility, which was right at the tarmac, at the airport, it was a crazy sight to have something on the tarmac. And it was huge. First thing I saw was a very big dome, because it has a glass thing, so we can see. There were more than us in that. So there were more than 300 people in that dome. And then they took us to other domes. So there were many other domes. So for sure, this facility, which was for 400 people, was having maybe 800 people. So that's why they were overwhelmed. They were not able to take care. And for that reason, when one of the guard, when he was unshackling me, he punched me behind my knee, which pains till today because of that, or maybe because of acute malnutrition I will go through in Texas. Everybody was losing weight. I lost 7 kg in these 2 months because the food they were giving was, nothing. And they would make sure that it's carb rich. And if you know what carb does to your body, you won't eat that food, or you will ask for something else. Because when I realized that something wrong is happening, I asked them to do my blood tests. And I made sure by giving them details that they were able to do that. Like nurses there won't know what is a fat soluble vitamin. I said that you are giving me vitamin D, it's a fat soluble vitamin. Have you tested on me? She said, let me check if it is fat soluble or water soluble. And then finally she was able to know that it's fat soluble. Then they put me on this blood test thing, and my cholesterol was 270. My triglycerides were 480 or 90. My uric acid was 7.5, and my vitamin D was 20. So this was acute malnutrition because of that diet, because of that sunless life we were living in, and everybody was going through the same hell experience there. Even Texas was an overcrowded facility. The first step I put in that dorm, I took it back because I saw dozens of people lying on the floor, and people start yelling, how many people will you bring in? There is no space here. And literally they put me in a TV room because there was no space there. So people were lying on floor. The condition of food was very bad, and people there, they were, very humble, and they didn't know how to ask on these tablets about any medical need they have. They won't ask, and they wouldn't be provided. So I would what I would do, that I would say, hey, your hand is paining. Let us put a request for you, and then they will come and take him after 3 days. So once a guy fell down, he was in his 50s. So I said that it might be a fracture. So we should say that I fell down, it might be a fracture, it is paining acutely, please come and help me, SOS. They came after 2 days. So this is the condition people are living in there. And I asked him next day that ask them to have this hot water pack, cold water pack. They didn't give him anything. So people are living as if nobody owns them. They are like guinea pigs. Basically, they are starving. And what they have this commissaries there. So they say buy from commissary. So people have to ask for money from their families. I mean, those male members were the breadwinners at their family. They were paying taxes, and they were fathers of American children, husbands of American wife. They were making good money and paying taxes, and now their family are standing for food stamps and barely able to send $50 to this guy that he can now go to this commissary and buy all the junk which they are selling, because they are selling their noodles, salted and preservative food, and all, which is not going to make anything to their health. This was happening there, and there are more things. I mean,
what strikes me from what you're just sharing now, and it reminds me as well of what we've heard from Mahmoud Khalil, Mohsen Madawi, and other detainees, is this sense of solidarity with other people who are detained in these facilities. Could you tell me a bit about that feeling and what that looked like and manifested while you were inside? I mean, you already described, the ways you tried to help advocate for them to seek medical assistance, but what else was that like, interacting with other people who were detained just like you?
When you just said this, I'm having goosebumps right now for those people who are just left out on this American soil for doing nothing wrong. I mean, there were two 18-year-olds who just were caught on the day when they turned 18, because when they were 16 or 17, they were riding a car and without a DL, maybe driving license. So they were caught when they just turned 18, and there were people who just were there because they had certain tickets. Or there were people who maybe did nothing. Like, there was a guy from, I want to discuss his case. He was from Laos. His forefathers fought with American army in Vietnam War. And for this thing, Americans committed them and gave them asylum in this country. This guy came with his family here, this guy from Laos. And first generation issue, he was like 5-6 years old. He made some problems here, had a fight with his fellow friends, and for that, when he was 16 or 17, he went to jail for 1 year. He had his term, and in jail he realized that he should change his life, and he came out, completed his studies, did one course from university as well, and then became a very good guy, never did anything wrong in his life later, had 4 beautiful kids, a beautiful American wife, was living a very good life, working with a very good company, and where he was the best employee, because he told that when he was removed from that job, everybody was reaching home 3-4 hours late now, because he was able to do things which others cannot do. And after 23 years, they came back and detained him for this thing which he did when he was 17-year-old. And punished his 4 kids, his wife, his company, whole American ecosystem. And this guy, and now ultimately, he was deported to Laos, a country he knows nothing about. He's in Laos now. For what? He cannot understand for what. He did something when he was like a teenager, and now he was 43-year-old. And there were black people from Africa. And they came from Liberia. They were given asylum here. And there was one guy from DC. And then they just took all the African guys in one plane and just, I would say, throw them in Liberia, in Ghana, and those countries again. It is like not following up with your commitment made to those people. And I used to write draft letters for some Hispanic brothers there who would not have lawyers there, or they didn't know how to have pro bono lawyers. So I would write to judge, and hearing about their stories is like very normal, mundane affairs. He did nothing wrong. Now their kids are waiting for him. Some are dropping out from colleges. There was one guy, he had American wife and 2 kids, teenagers. One was 13-year-old and another was 18-year-old. This 18-year-old just joined the college, and now the father was taken away, so she dropped out, and she has to take care of her sister, because the mother is not with them anymore. And she said once, hey father, a tree from our neighbor fell in our yard. What should we do? And what would these girls do? they are deprived of their education, and they have to take care. The elder one has to take care of her younger daughter because the father was in detention center because he just was driving or maybe crossed some red light, a small mistake he did, and for that he was there and would be deported to Mexico. So I would be drafting letters for these people, and they were so good people. Everything about them was so nice. They were real humans. Very small mistakes sometimes they did in their life, for that they were punished like this because they were Hispanics, because it is all racism, it is all xenophobia, nothing else.
You talk about all the impacts that you perceived these detentions having on these people's lives, their families' lives, American society at large. Could you tell us a bit about what the impacts were on your circle, your sphere of the world, your family? What did your family have to deal with in your absence?
So my family, I mean, my wife and my kids. Yeah, so they were like devastated because of this. My wife, as she's an American citizen of Palestinian origin, so there is a war of annihilation going on there, a genocide happening there. She was going through all that. Her neighbors, her friends, some family members were killed in this genocide. So every day is a painful day for her. And then this happened. So she was like, I can't even understand. I can't even be in her shoes, that what she's going through or what she went through when I was taken away, when I was abducted. My kids, at least my elder son, when he came to know about it, he was like in big trauma, and he wouldn't speak. Everybody, because he was a very, I mean, good guy. He would always have fun. Everyone here at my workplace or my university would know him and would play with him. So he was a very fun-loving guy. And then all of a sudden, he became quiet, and everybody noticed it. And on the day of Eid, Muslims, the day of our festival after Ramadan, he was crying. And so it was a very bad experience for him. And when I returned, he's good now, but once he returned from outside, and he told me, he was like, hey Baba, there are 5 police cars parked outside of our building. So this is trauma. And I said, okay, no problem. I always taught him that police and state is there for helping us. It is for catching bad people. And then what would he think, that some kind of police caught his father? So they went through, but the thing is that they didn't went through like what children in Palestine are going through. Some are 20,000 plus are not with us. They were killed, and there are 30,000 plus orphans, and there are many who lost their limbs, and we can't compare our misery to those people. Yeah.
You talk about the absurdities that have led to so many of these people to have been in detention with you, the inane reasons that the government has used to justify detaining them and even deporting them. How do you react broadly to the government's case against you?
I mean, I don't know those allegations, if there is any case against me, because in the court, the case against me was only maybe in social media. It was not a real case, because in the court, government didn't come up with any evidence, with nothing. Honorable judge gave them the time, but they come up with nothing. So I just totally reject this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel like, nevertheless, the government's pursuit against you, and of course others like Mahmoud Khalil, Muslim Madawi, Rumaysa Ozturk, and many more, how do you feel like that sort of pursuit impacts your speech and the speech of other people in this country?
So this is like McCarthyism 2.0. We have seen this thing happening before also, that chilling of speech, putting dissent under pressure, and in the name of patriotism, in the name of these things just arguing someone as disloyal so that the due process can be removed, their civil liberties can be removed. So this is the same thing. I mean, these things are protected by Constitution, by like like First Amendment, freedom of speech, and in academia, it's very important to have freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of ideas. One need to put hypothesis, thesis, then there should come a counter thesis. This is how we live in academia. I mean, to suppress this is like a transition to authoritarianism. I mean, people always. I mean, this is America. This is the best place in the world where you have your own ideas, and there is thesis and counter thesis. This is how things go on. But I say that if sometimes certain administration believes that they can very easily take away the civil liberties, like McCarthyism 2.0. So this is sometimes xenophobia, sometimes racism. This is maybe because of Islamophobia, maybe because we are person of color, and yeah.
Do you feel like this targeting and pursuit of you has impacted your scholarly work on peace building?
No, so we used to on our armchair do the research, and now I lived that thing. So I just lived that experience. So it is like whatever I was researching or I was talking about, I lived that. So it will add to my work. It will, for sure. I mean, I believe in Gandhian nonviolence and forgiveness, which is the most important tool. We should not be going for retribution, an eye for an eye, make whole world blind. And as Gandhi said, his philosophy would be that nonviolence is a weapon of a strong, not of weak, because be the change you wish to see in the world, and and uh, and forgiveness is such a big virtue that only strong can forgive. We cannot forgive. So I believe in nonviolence and Gandhian principles of forgiveness. That's the way we can move ahead with, and that's the way we can make our society a healthy place to live with. Because we have to live with fellow humans, and by having this retribution or revenge, it's a perpetual never-ending cycle that's not going to help us. So we have to learn this art of Gandhian forgiveness, and empathy. I mean, the hate should be tackled with peace and compassion. So that's what I believe in.
This Gandhian spirit you describe of leading with empathy, of trying your best to live alongside your neighbors, seems to stand in such stark contrast to everything that's happened since you and Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeis Ozturk and Mohsen Madawi were detained, which is to say, in recent weeks we've seen the targeting of the New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka as he sought to look into an ICE facility. We've seen Brad Lander just this week, a New York City official, targeted by ICE for asking for a warrant for someone who was being targeted by ICE. We've seen Senator Alex Padilla, a California senator, who's asking a government official about ICE being detained and arrested. And of course, we've seen thousands of people across the country arrested and targeted by ICE, and thousands more on a huge scale of people protesting that. So I'm wondering how you sort of just react to this explosion of ICE's activity since you've been targeted, and perhaps in seeing how maybe the targeting of you and Mahmoud and so many more was kind of a stress test to see what the society would tolerate.
Yeah, as you said, that it's a stress test to check what society could tolerate, because there are two things. Civil society is very important to have a distinguishing feature between a functional democracy and an autocracy. Every leader who kind of have power try to abuse power, and then it's job of civil society to put a restraint on that power. Let democracy be democracy, and do not let it go towards that transition towards autocracy or authoritarianism. and for certain agencies are monumental cases of abuse of law or violation of rights, which can, I mean, this is fascism where masked men and unmarked cars can come and have cruel apprehensions and have warrantless arrests, and they behave as they are under no weight of law. They behave as if they are kind of a militia, because if you can perform like this, no one needs a militia because you are one, as some historians are calling that these guys are maybe foot soldiers of fascism. So yeah, they are a helping hand towards a transition towards authoritarianism, and there are checks and balances for sure. It will take time, but courts and constitution will ultimately take care of everything. And sometimes, as you said, Mahmoud or Rumesa or Mohsen, and also never forget Lika Kurdia and many others who we don't know name of. There are many unprivileged we don't know about. Lika Kurdia, this girl was she was in the same Texas Prairie Detention Center, was arrested before me. She was also she is from Colombia. I don't know why no one talks about her, because she is living a very bad life there under malnutrition, and her religious rights are not allowed to her, and those things. So, yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like your relationship with the U.S. is right now?
It's I mean, U.S. is not just the administration. United States is entire society. It's my wife's country. It's your country. It's the place of my work. Like in my culture, we say it's karm bhumi. So it's I'm an integral part of it, and it's an integral part of me. And societies are what we make. It's like, as Alexander Vaughan would say for anarchy, that anarchy is what you make out of it. Anarchy is what states make out of it. So similarly, societies are what we make out of these. It's on not just on one elected administration. It's on civil society as well. It's on and universities as well. It's on journalists as well. It's on attorneys. It's on everyone. It's this is the perfect country I would like to live here, and this is the country where I moved because it protects my certain freedoms, which otherwise I was not allowed to protect, which I was not allowed to live. So this is for sometimes certain rights of mine were taken away, but see, I was able to get those rights back through court, through this constitutional arrangement which we have in this country. So as I said, I believe in Gandhi's philosophy: no forgiveness for everything, no vengeance against anything. This is the life we have to live in. This is the society which we have to make best society, so that our next generation, our children, can only be proud of, and together we can and we will make the difference. We will bridge the differences. If the differences are an integral part of human society, and we have to always bridge certain differences and never be violent, for sure, and always try to make life better. America is the perfect place for me.
That's a wonderful place to leave it off. Dr. Badar Khan Suri, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your time with us. And I think your words really ring very strongly. They have for weeks and months now. And I think what you've just described here shows what a real American spirit can look like. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Did you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications. For exclusive content and to support our independent, unfiltered journalism, head over to Zeteo.com. Your support matters.